Hi, Linda Sessions here, and today we are going to look at how you can create a cookbook in Microsoft Word. So here is the completed workbook. You can see I have a cover page with a picture and some information about my family. On the second page is what I really think sets this cookbook apart and is one of the neat things about Microsoft Word, and that is how easy it is to create a table of contents. By using the styles that we have here on the Home tab, we've got these styles here, we can go to the Reference tab and create a table of contents. So for all of my categories, my main dishes, breads, soups, desserts, I created those and I formatted them with the heading 1 format. My recipe titles I formatted using the heading 2 format. Then I added a blank page after the cover page and went in and inserted a table of contents, and it created this for me. I didn't type this in. I didn't even type in the page numbers. Microsoft Word did that all for me. If I want to go in and add more recipes, I want to talk about the appetizers. Came across a really cool broccoli salad over the weekend. I can go in and I can add a new category for salads, add that recipe. I can come back here to my table of contents, right click on it, update field, and it's going to update my table of contents, complete with the new category of salads, the broccoli salad title, and the page number, and it's going to change all the page numbers. So it's really a neat feature in Word. Another cool feature of this table of contents, if I move my mouse over one of the recipes, you can see I get a link. If I click on the control button and then click on my mouse button, it is going to automatically take me to that location in my document. Even if I save this as a PDF file, that link is still going to be there. So I can create this recipe book, I can send it to my family and friends, and they can go to the table of contents, put their mouse over the recipe they're wanting to go to, hit Control, click, and it's going to take them right to that location in their recipe book. So it's a really neat feature. So here we have our main categories. I've got pictures, I've got my recipes, and so let's go in and see how I created this document. You are going to have a blank document that you are going to be able to download and a starter file from your class. And it is already going to have some categories and some recipes listed for you. Now for this assignment, you are going to have to come up with an additional 2 categories. So I've already given you a main dish category and a breads category. You will need to come up with 2 additional categories of food. Could be appetizers, salads, desserts, whatever you want. And then for each of those categories, you need 2 additional recipes. You might want to go ahead and get those together before you start working in the workbook. The other thing I recommend that you get together is your pictures, because you're going to need pictures of each of your recipes. And what I did was I just created a file. I created a file folder on my desktop, and in that file folder I have all of my recipe pictures. So I am ready to go and just add these pictures to my cookbook. So before you get started with this assignment, I strongly recommend that you, 1, come up with 2 additional categories and 2 recipes for each of those categories, ingredients, and how to create them. and 2, that you come up with your pictures that you're going to be using for your recipes. Now you can take your own pictures. I got some pictures off of the stock photos on the internet, and just make sure that if you are using somebody else's pictures that you give them credit if it's not just a stock picture. All right, so you have all of your data, everything you need to get going, creating your Word file or your cookbook. So let's look at the instructions. First thing we want to do is we want to change the theme. Now the theme, remember, makes a lot of changes in the background, like what font it's using, how the styles would look. We want to change the theme to the integral theme. So I'm going to come up here to the Design tab, and this is where I'm going to find all the themes. I'm going to click on the theme icon over here on the left, and I'm going to choose Integral. We also have all these different formattings that are available to us, and I love these formattings because they are just built-in ways to format your paper. You can get a live preview. If I had headings and stuff already entered in here, you could see what it would look like. It would really change the appearance. We are going to find the one that is Lines Simple and select that one. And again, we're not going to see any real changes here yet, but when we start adding the fonts, we will. Over here, if you want to, you can change the theme colors if you're not a blue person, and you can also go in and you can change the fonts. I'm just going to leave mine just like that. Now I'm going to come back over to the Home tab, and I am going to set my text to Main Dishes. I want this to be the Heading 1 style. So I'm going to select Main Dishes, Heading 1, and Breads, Heading 1. Those are my 2 categories that I have in my document right now. I am going to go to my name of my recipe, the chicken pot pie, and make that Heading 2. Ranch chicken, Heading 2. I'm going to come down here and make my 3 bread recipes the Heading 2 style as well. I'm going to now enter my picture that represents my chicken pot pie. So I'm going to scroll up to the chicken pot pie. I'm going to put my insertion point right in front of that C. And you can see that little icon that pops up after the C when I get my mouse up there. That just lets me know that some type of a style has been added there. And you can see up in my ribbon, the Heading 2 is indicated with that line around it. So it lets me know that's the Heading 2 style. That's all that indicates, is that a style has been added. I'm going to hit Enter to enter a blank line. Then I'm going to move my insertion point up to that blank line, and I'm going to enter my picture that represents the chicken pot pie. Now up here on my picture, I'm going to go to my Picture Format tab. I'm going to make sure I have my alt text. I want this to be chicken pot, a piece of the chicken pot pie. And then I'm going to format it in some way. Now, I formatted, like I said, all of mine in the same way. You can, however you want to set it up. It's up to you. It's your cookbook. So I'm just going to do this circle one on this one. So I've got my picture. Make your picture around 2 inches high. So I've got mine 1.97. I can change that to 2. It says format the picture with reflected rounded rectangle. I'm not going to count you off if you do something different, but the reflected rounded rectangle, where is it? Oh, right there. Okay, now I'm going to move my insertion point to in front of ranch chicken. Now, I've decided for this, I want each recipe on its own page. So now I am going to insert a manual page break. So I'm just on my keyboard, I'm going to hit Control Enter, and that's going to enter a manual page break. I am going to put a blank line in front of ranch chicken, and I'm going to come up here in that new blank line, and now I'm going to add a picture of my ranch chicken and format it to match my chicken pot pie. Okay, so I now have my picture for my ranch chicken. I formatted it. Now I'm going to go down to breads, put my insertion point in front of that B, and insert a manual page break. And I am going to repeat the steps for the remaining recipes that I have in here, putting each one on its own page, putting a blank line, and putting the picture of the recipe right in the blank line before the recipe title. I'm going to do that for the remaining recipes here in my cookbook. Okay, so I have all of my pages entered in, my pictures entered in and formatted, and now I'm going to go back up to the top, and I'm going to move my insertion point in front of the M in main dishes. Now you might notice if I click on this little icon here by the main dishes, all of a sudden you don't see anything. Okay, everything is still there, but it has shrunk it down. So it just makes your document look a little cleaner. If I want to see those main dishes, I would just click on this again and they would all be up here. So if you accidentally click on those and turn them off, you haven't lost anything. Okay, that's the way it's supposed to work. That's what happens when you use the styles. Right, so I'm going to put my insertion point right there in front of the M in main dishes, and I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and I'm going to add a cover page to my document. I'm going to come up here on the Insert tab. Right over here is Cover Pages. And there's lots of different cover pages that you can add and make your recipe book your own. But for this assignment, we're going to use the integral cover page. And now we're going to go in and we're going to make some changes to this. I'm going to take and insert a picture here of your choice. So to do that, I'm going to click here in this picture, and you can see I have my picture format tab. You also notice you have a table design and a layout, because this is actually created in a table format. A lot of times when you're messing with templates, it's already in a table or already laid out columns in some way. So you just have to pay attention to what you see up on the ribbon as you go around and try to manipulate what is on that template or on that cover page. So I'm going to come up here to my picture format tab, and over here I have change picture. So I'm not going to insert a new picture. I am going to change the picture. I'm going to choose one from this device. I have my cover page picture here that I want to use, and it's going to automatically put it in here. And again, you can go into your alt text. And I'm not going to format it. I'm going to leave it just like that. The document title, I want you to put your last name in the cookbook. And for the document subtitle, I want to know how many generations you might have in your cookbook. So I'm just going to say 4 generations. Then over here on the abstract, I'm going to replace the word abstract with my family recipes. And then here in this little paragraph underneath, I just want you to replace the text with a little bit about your family history, just a short little bit about your family, maybe why they like to cook, how anything that you want to share about your particular family. Underneath that, make sure that your name is listed down here as the author. And the course is going to be CED 115. And so there you have your cover page. Now the author is one way you can look and see your author and that type of information on your documents is in the info tab, and we haven't really looked at that, so let's run and look at that real quick. So up here on the file tab, if I go to the info, right over here you can put your title of your document. Usually it takes it from the first line of your document. Lets you know, hey, that you can add that in here if you need to. Lets you actually know how many minutes you've been in it, when you've been in it, and your author. Okay, so all that information is right here under the info tab, or the info under the file tab. So moving back to the assignment, at the bottom of the title page, I'm going to move my insertion point down here to the bottom, we want to insert a blank page. So I'm going to come up here to Layout and Breaks, and I'm going to put Page. So you can see now I have my cover page, I've got a blank page, and then here's my recipes. I'm going to come up here to the blank page, and now I am ready to enter my table of contents. This is where the magic happens. I'm going to go to the References tab, Table of Contents. There are some automatic ones that are built in. You can do a custom one. We're going to just come to the automatic Table 1, select that, and oh my gosh, this doesn't look right. I shouldn't have pictures in the table of contents. What is going on? So let's come down here, Main Dishes. Let's go to the Home tab. We don't want that to have any style. So we're going to come over here, and we're just going to make this the normal style. And I need to do that with each one of the pictures. What happened is when I inserted the blank line, the style stayed with that blank line. And I don't want that style. It's real easy to fix. I'm just going to go into each picture, make that normal. Now I'm going to come back up to my table of contents. I'm going to right click on it, Update Field, Update Entire Table. Okay, here we go. That's what it should look like. Now, if you want it to have larger text, you can actually go in and highlight it and make the text larger as well. I'm going to leave mine alone for right now. But that is how you can fix it. Once you have your table of contents added, if it doesn't look right, or if you notice something's missing, then you can go back into your document, make sure you have the styles added correctly, and then update the table to fix your table of contents. Really easy to fix. All right. So now, what you're going to do is you're going to add your additional chapter headings and your additional recipes. So I'm going to come here to my document, and I'm going to go to my last recipe here. I'm going to hit Control Enter, and I am actually going to add a soups. I added it to the wrong document here. I'm going to add soups. I want that to be the heading 1 style. Enter. I want a blank line there. I'm going to add tomato soup. So I'm going to add my picture. Where's my tomato soup? I'm going to format my picture, add my recipe. So I've added my soups. I've got my tomato soup. I've got my potato soup. I'm going to enter in I'm going to control enter for a blank page. And now I'm going to add some desserts. I want to make sure that my category title is the heading 1. And I'm going to add a couple of desserts to my cookbook. So when you add your categories and your recipes, make sure that you have your recipe titles as the heading 2 style and your categories as the heading 1 style. I'm going to come back up here to my table of contents page, and a keyboard shortcut to get to the top of your document is Control Home. So if you hit the Control Home key on your keyboard, it will take you to the very top of your document. I'm going to come down here to my table of contents. I'm going to right click on it, update field, update entire table, okay. And oh, dang, I've got this soup recipe picture and it's showing up. So I need to come here to my potato soup. So I'm just going to hit Control click here to go to that. I need to come in here, make that normal. I'm going to hit Control Home to go back up to the top of my document. Come to my table of contents, right click, update field, update entire table, and there. That's what it's supposed to look like. So always look over your table of contents and make sure it looks how you want it to look. If you need to make some changes, then don't try to change it here in this table. Make sure you go into your actual document and fix how your document is looking. So here is my final cookbook. I have it finished. I'm ready to save it and then submit for grading. Or if you want to, you can actually, if this is something that you're wanting to share with your family, if you come up here to the File tab and do Save a Copy, or your version might have Save As, you can save a copy. One of the objects that you can save your document as is a PDF. So you can save it as a PDF, and then you can actually send that to people, and they actually have that document. They won't be able to make changes to it, but they will actually have that document. You can share your family recipes with your family and with your friends. Hopefully you've had some fun creating your family cookbook, learned a little bit more about using styles and setting up your information in your document to create your table of contents. And remember, your final document should have at least 11 pages. And so here we go. I've got there are my cookbook pages. So enjoy.